that time when it warms up, so sniffles aren't a constant guest on every episode. How well do people in your building know you? At all?
I assume not at all.
Okay. Because I was wondering if anyone just thinks I'm your secret lover, because I only come over once a week at the same time. It's your scheduled meeting when the missus is out of the house.
Well, considering that I don't think any time you've been over, we've seen any.
No, I've never seen.
I'm at the point where I don't think anyone actually lives in this building. Maybe it's just ghosts.
No, I know at least one other person lives here.
Are they, like, a lot of people died in that explosion? Could just be ghosts.
Okay, I saw someone leave. I guess that doesn't mean they lived here.
That's true.
I've never seen someone come here.
Yeah.
Only leave.
No, it's because all the ghosts. Halifax, most haunted city, because of all the dead people.
Yeah, and that ghost walk sure showed me. There's a whole bunch of ghosts about.
Welcome to the Power Moves podcast. This is... What episode are we on?
8.
8? Oh, wow. I'm Duncan.
I'm Colin, a very sleepy boy.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a common theme throughout this episode.
I was running late. I was going to stop and get coffee. And I was like, I'm running late. I should not do that.
I went to bed
late.
3-4 o'clock in the morning.
Why?
And then I woke up at 8 o'clock and I was like, okay, I'll just sleep for another hour. And then it was 12 o'clock. And I was like, motherfucker.
I get the longest sleep I've slept in a long time. I went to bed at 11:30, which for me that's actually pretty late.
Yeah.
And I slept until 20 after 9. That's forever for me.
Yeah.
So what's new, Duncan?
Well, not a whole lot. Since the last time we recorded, I had just been a complete and total hypocrite. And last week I had that little rant about me, how I hated the idea of pre-ordering and all that jazz. And then you brought up a good point where it was like, well, where we live, if you want the deluxe version, chances are it'd probably be best to pre-order because limited supplies.
Yeah.
And I pre-ordered it.
Feeling any regret? Because a lot of hate has streamed in the last week.
I mean, and I haven't helped the cause much, but let's face something. Mass Effect has never had great animation. Or great facial animation. Because there are times in Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, those characters are not conveying emotions. The dialogue isn't there.
You think it's a lot of
same
nostalgia goggles?
Yeah.
Of these games as a whole were amazing, so you just kind of forget their imperfections.
Yeah. Because there were in Mass Effect 3, there were obvious programming rigging errors that just kind of got through terrible glitches. Shepard's head just completely turned 90 degrees at a 90-degree angle away from talking in a different direction than who he was speaking to.
Beautiful. I mean, I don't know, shit happens, I guess.
But I'm gonna save my BioWare EA rant for
save it for next week.
When
you've played it for a while?
When I've played it for a while and when I've dug down into the trenches.
I don't know if I can ever like that company again, and I don't know whose decision it was, but I'd have to go back and find out who said it on stage. But whoever said Mass Effect comes out March 21st, 3, 2, 1, blast off. I just can't support that company.
It's amazing.
I can't. No, that's too. It's too punny. I mean, I guess all power to them. All power to them. There's very few dates you could actually weave into being semi-related to your game.
My favorite is when they came out on November 7th.
Oh, and 7, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh.
And 7.
Okay, so they have a history
Oh,
of doing
they
this.
have a history of doing it. I love BioWare for it. I love it.
See, because my experience with BioWare is entirely with Dragon Age. Not a whole lot of dragon-related dates.
No, not really.
Maybe I should go back and check if Dragon Age Inquisition released on the whatever anniversary of the Spanish Inquisition. Because if they did, then God bless them.
Controversial opinion, apparently on the internet, but I enjoy Sword Art Online.
No. I mean, I can't front. We talked about it enough. I mean, I watched it.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't even know why I stopped. Because I definitely waded through bad parts to it getting good again. And then I just kind of stopped. But I didn't hate it at the time. I got a few episodes into, like, what was it, Gun Gale?
Yeah. I mean, there are some definite drops in the show, but there are some good parts that I enjoyed. And it's like anything. If you enjoy it enough, you're going to stick through it. And watch the movie.
Mm-hmm. Now, where does that fit in the timeline? Or is it even canon?
It's canon. It's well after the quote-unquote sad story arc.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
I imagine it's after I stopped.
Well, it's after the Gun Gale? Gun Gale. It's after Gun Gale.
Okay, then yeah.
And then you have the Excalibur arc, which is kind of pointless. I didn't really see any point of having the Excalibur arc in the that I didn't really like. Even the Elfheim, the one where Ozna's in the bird cage, and a lot of people hate that kind of storyline. I would put that over the Excalibur arc. But this is well after the sad story arc. And it was very reminiscent of the first arc, which I enjoyed.
It was good.
Yeah. It was good. I mean, I probably wouldn't go see it in theaters again, but if it came out on DVD or Blu-ray, I'd pick it up. There was just the first bit of it, like every so often you just have that exposition dump kind of explaining things for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Yes.
And that kind of felt slow. And there were some real moments that were just not needed. And then I don't know if this was the movie or the theater doing it, but there was this one scene where Azuna's taking a bath, and they are really zoomed in on her, everything from her, like, collarbone up, and it just looks really weird, and, like, you know, when a shot doesn't look right in anything, that kind of director / animator kind of comes out of you, and you're like, this shot looks weird. Like, why? And I just sat there looking at it, and I was like, well, why else would that shot look weird? They're editing it to try so you don't keep it PG.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I'd have to see it for myself.
Yeah.
But I guess it all comes down to if the line quality held up, then it was probably meant to look like that. If it didn't hold up, then it probably was edited.
Yeah, it was just really tight. Like, the framing was really tight for some reason, and that looked kind of weird, but I get it. Japan's a little racy with their fan service.
Yeah, true.
Other than that, once the first battle, they encounter this, I'm not going to go into spoilers. I'm going to try not to go into spoilers too much. But, the big bad guy boss that they're fighting in augmented reality because VR is too dangerous. And I sat there going like, oh, VR is too dangerous. Well, no, it's not. But it is once you include a neural link up.
That's fine.
No. Anyway, one of the bosses that you didn't see from SAO shows up. He's this big samurai thing that's got a snake tongue, and he's just whipping around, just killing people. And one of the side characters that was in the first season goes to block one of his sword strikes, and our friend who I went with, I think he described it best, was the second that sword hit that shield, the sound of metal, that metal on metal sound, that ringing, and the ring afterwards, oh, you knew shit was gonna go down. And the fight scenes were really, like, early on, the fight scenes are really nice to watch. They're really fun. They're very fast-paced, and you're like, it's just really awesome to watch. My only critique is that later on, there's, in one of the last boss battles that they go up against, there's a fight scene, and it's just show off a character, they do their special attack, cut to next character, they do their special attack, cut to next character, which would be fine, but it's done in such quick succession that it's just it feels disjointed and too quick.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish they'd slow those scenes down so we could see because characters are on the screen for like a second, and then they do their special attack, and their special attack causes this like glowing magical, like when you do any kind of spell in any kind of MMO, like it's just this massive kind of glowing ectoplasm kind of, and it's just really distracting because it's like, okay, I want to see the character,
yeah,
but they're on there for such a split second that it's like, okay, this is disjointed and it's kind of making me nauseous. Either that, or it was the guy who was sitting beside me who reeked of root beer, popcorn, and just body odor.
So a Sword Art fan. Your typical weeb.
Your typical weeb. And after sitting next to him for as long as the movie was, I think an hour 22.
I wasn't there. It was me.
I don't remember. But it was a while. A typical movie length. I am not, like, everyone calls me a weeb. I am not a weeb. Like, I don't deserve that title after sitting next to that man, because he was getting so into it, and I wish I could have gotten into it as much as he was.
Now, ballpark, how old was this person?
Early mid-20s.
Okay.
But anytime the villain would come up, just flip him the double bird.
Oh no, I couldn't. I couldn't deal with that.
Constantly giving off commentary at an odd, like, I could hear him and I could make out every word he was saying, and I just sit there going like, but then and all the power to him, like all the power. He can do that in a public setting. All the more power to him. That is a confidence in myself I don't even have.
Yeah, that's not... No, when you're talking during a movie, that's not confidence, that's arrogance. That's what I have to say is more important than people enjoying the movie.
Okay. There was one part where I was like, okay, buddy, you gotta tone it down. It's when, minor spoilers, very minor, like, nitpick, like, Kirido's cooking himself some supper, and Azuna's kind of giving him shit, being like, listen, learn how to cook, like, I taught you how to cook, blah, 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 and you're making yourself pasta. Could you eat a little better? And out from his mouth was, well, why don't you get in the kitchen and make him something? And at that point, I sat there just biting my hand, going like, oh, I don't want to be here right now.
I'm sure he's a lovely person.
Anyway, that all aside, there was one moment that just made the movie for me. And it was watching him. And fuck, I can't. A
thing happens?
A thing happens. And It happened in the first season.
Okay.
And this is going to be pretty big spoilers.
For the first season?
For the first... Well, it's... Okay, so in the first season, Kirito gives Asuna a ring.
Sure.
And they're like, you know, when we get out of here, do you want to get married, kind of thing.
You know, as you do when you're 16.
16 and, you know, in a death game.
Mm-hmm.
And you might not make it out, so you might as well just say, fuck it.
Yeah, no, we're at life and death, I'm not being like, I should really get married.
Well, you're living in the moment. Like, at any moment, you can be killed.
That moment is never, I need to find a wife.
Well, some port in the storm.
Especially not 16. I was a real piece of work at 16.
Oh, I bet you were a real piece of garbage. Anyway, so major spoilers. Kirito finally gives Asuna a ring. And the whole build-up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're sitting alone on a starry night hill. Kirito brings out the ring and is about to put it on her. And this guy beside me is just going like, oh, it's actually happening! And he's got his hands up to his face. And he's just so everyone's so excited, and then he finally puts it on, and there's just like this. I don't know if there was a clap because I was focused on the guy beside me, and I was just trying my hardest not to laugh.
So you enjoyed it through him?
Yes. Then the credits came, and I was just like, I need to get out because I need to get air.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of smelling body odor, root beer, and popcorn. Mm-hmm. And our friends that I went with, I kind of felt bad because I was like, I'm not going because I want to get out. Well, I was going because I wanted to get out, but needed...
not away from them.
Not away from them. I needed air, otherwise I was going to be sick.
Yeah. So
immediately, once I gained my composure, I came back in, and there's stuff at the end, and I'm kind of hoping that all this development we're seeing in Sword Art Online will eventually lead to its to what came before it, Excel World, because I was much more invested in Excel World, but unfortunately it wasn't as popular as Sword Art.
I'm not surprised there's more of them. I just know there's Sword Art and Log Horizon.
Yep.
I don't know what Excel World is.
It's
another MMO game. Or MMO anime, I should say.
The only difference is instead of having headsets or that, kids just come now with neural implants in their heads.
Okay. Now,
you are your VR.
Now, do you think Sword Art, whatever company makes that anime, has really kind of missed the opportunity to make an actual Sword Art MMO? I mean, they keep putting out games and they're fucking awful. But
that's because they're all
but the anime
games.
The anime is an MMO. The fact that they make single player only games is baffling.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, would you want to play as one of the background no-name characters?
I think there's a market for it there. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Rather do that than play as Kirito.
Yeah. What else? Well, there's what we did yesterday, but did we want to talk about that in our weeks, or did we want to talk about that?
Well, we'll touch on that at the very end, because that kind of rolls into something else.
Okay. But other than that, I think that was my week.
Okay.
Pre-ordering Mass Effect, and then having you guys just constantly shit on my decision with your bad animation gifs.
Well, okay, so there's something I do want to talk about in that. And like I said, we'll talk about Mass Effect specifically more when you've actually played it.
Yeah.
But I think while our job is not exactly something that's... Like, when I go home, and I imagine you have the same thing, our jobs are, like, pseudo-special.
Yeah.
Because where we live, no one does what we do.
Yeah.
But here, we obviously work with hundreds of people who do the same thing.
Yeah.
And we've mentioned it before, but to anyone who, for whatever reason, doesn't know, Duncan and I are both professional animators. Professional has very large quotes around them.
We work on kids' shows.
We work as animators professionally, but I wouldn't call us professionals.
Oh, no.
But still, I feel like... Do you feel that we don't... Like, I almost never use that to critique things. And that, like, that's one of the few things I have an actual say on over the rest of the internet bitching about things, is when... Because Mass Effect's getting hate and blah, blah, blah. And even when other games get hate, you have people who just go, well, I play games, so I know how things work. But, like, we make things for a living.
Yeah, we are animators for a living. I have a hard time turning it off.
No, I definitely do.
Because I will see mistakes in show, and then I can't enjoy the show I'm watching. Well, because all I can think of is that character... His finger was clipping through something, and it was so minute that they probably missed it. And
nothing comes out perfect.
No,
ever. And
there are some concessions that have to be made. But I sit there and I'm looking for it, and I can't stop myself. And it's really kind of started. Like, I can't enjoy shows sometimes because of it.
Yeah, I definitely I don't know if I watch any CG shows. And even that too, like, even though we're not in the, the VFX side of things, I think even just dealing with CG on a daily basis, I do think we have a better eye than the general public.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, for example, the Jungle Book got awards for its VFX. I could tell those were fake. It's pretty clear that none of those were really there.
Yeah, but fur dynamics...
No, like, don't get me wrong, they looked fantastic, but, like, people were coming saying, like, oh my god, it looks real. No, it doesn't. Not to me, or to anyone who made them. They looked as real as they could get. And, like, I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on the movie, but I just mean, I think when you work in it every day, I think you just have an eye for it that other people don't. But, like, does that bother you when you see people who are kind of talking about things and they don't really know what they're talking about? And it's our job, and yeah, we're not the best people at our job. We don't work at Disney or anything.
But at least we know what we're... Like, we have a general idea of what we're talking about.
Anyone who is higher up than us knows the exact same amount. They just execute it better.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'd never really thought about that until pretty recently, seeing people shitting on things. And I see a lot of it on Tumblr, and Tumblr kind of gathers a lot of artists, so... Usually there's an actual animator who actually will call people out and be like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm kind of being a hypocrite, because I'll talk about game development or game bugs. And, like, I've worked on, like, 2 games ever. And I just did animations. I don't know anything about programming.
No, neither do I. And I can assure you it's not as simple. Like, 2 of my friends went and did programming.
Yeah.
Did is not... an easy thing.
I mean, it wasn't for gaming, but, like, I did, and I don't even know how much this would relate, but I took programming for robotics. And, like, it's not just hard for me, it's just so over my head I don't even care. I tried to learn it, I'm like, this is not for me. God bless people who can work in code all day.
Yeah.
Because, we need them. And it definitely does not get the love that the flashier side of the industry gets.
Like, riggers, they're super important. Modelers, super important.
Well, I mean, modelers get their credit.
Yeah.
But riggers definitely don't.
Texture artists.
Yeah.
And then everyone in animation is just shitting on everyone down in texturing, rigging, and modeling.
Well, I mean, even to an extent, I don't even know, like, obviously everyone gets their credit. They're all in the credits.
Yeah.
Barring Sausages Party, like, fiascos.
Yeah.
But even still, like, when an animation team does amazing work on a movie, the director gets the credit.
Yeah.
And, like, sure, without them, probably would have been garbage, but they didn't really do the work. So, and I mean, there's been
But they did keep They did.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. They definitely deserve, their credit.
They're the director for a reason. They're not just.
But like, Like, I think we work with pretty humble directors.
Yeah.
Like, they know they get the, the glory, and they know who does the grunt work.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm sure behind the scenes, even for big budget movies, I'm sure it's the same thing. Like, yes, for, the Annies or the Oscars or whatever, you have to deal with, yes, we can't invite 300 animators on stage to accept
we
this
can't
award.
have our entire studio show up.
Away from animation, I watched a movie that I'm just going to say is better than Sword Art, having not seen it. I saw Logan.
Okay.
And every time you leave a movie, you kind of leave a little biased.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you hated it, I think you come out, any movie you go, that's the best movie I've ever seen. So I usually let it stew for a day or two to actually make my mind up. But I still feel fairly confident that is one of the best superhero movies.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Because it's...
Now, was it because it was rated R? Because all good superhero movies are rated R.
Well, we talked about that a few weeks ago, that, like, rated R has become the buzzword for superhero
The new
movies.
1080p.
Yeah.
The new 4K. Plays at 4K, everybody.
And there's not a lot of heroes that can get away with that. And also, like, rated R really just means they said fuck more than the allowed times. Which I think you are allowed to say it once or twice.
Yeah.
But a few times, if it swears too much, you just get an R rating just for language. But Wolverine has always been violent.
Oh, yeah. No,
they just don't show the blood, or they cut away when he's doing something. But, like, you can still... I mean, that's how editing works. You can still get, I bet he cut this dude's head off, but they cut around it. So
Wolverine kills people.
Yeah. So, making Logan R didn't feel...
weird.
No, it felt like, this is a Wolverine movie, and, like, I've seen all the Wolverine movies. So, the last one would have been... I forget what the last one was called.
X-Men Origin?
Yeah, it was the second one of those. The one where he went to Japan.
Okay.
That
was a while ago.
It was the last Wolverine movie. I mean, he's made cameos.
That was the one with Silver Samurai, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But whatever that one was called, like, it felt like the same movie as that. And, like, I know a lot of people didn't like that movie, and a lot of people are loving Logan. But they definitely felt like it's the same character. There were still funny moments. There was, like... I mean, don't get me wrong. This movie's not perfect. It definitely suffers from... our origin is a comic book. And guess what? Comics are not the pinnacle of literature. So there's a lot of, like... it's kind of stupid. But... I mean, that's just the nature of comic books. But, like... Having never read Old Man Logan...
Yeah.
I didn't really know what I was in for. I knew the gist of it, because the trailer showed the gist of it. No more mutants.
Yep.
We lied. But honestly, it is... The best part of it is just different. And I wish I knew more about movie making to explain it. Because it feels like the, PG-13 Wolverine movies.
Yeah.
But... So it has that same feel, but it's rated R, super violent, but while feeling connected to the PG movies, it's just better. And I don't know if that's just they had a better writing team, but like the fight scenes were fantastic. Some pretty solid jokes. I would for you, especially last week when we were talking about you not really watching superhero movies anymore, would make an exception for Logan.
Okay.
I think it is well worth the watch. Other than that, haven't really done much of anything. Horizon is... I don't know. I feel like I'm putting a lot of... I said it before. I feel like I keep playing it, but I guess it's just like a little bit here and there. It's not actually like I sit down for a huge amount of time. What was that?
Well, I was going to wait till your talk about Logan was done, and then I was going to be like, so I've thought about something. Like, you know how a few weeks back we talked about what we'd like to see from Marvel or DC as an animated...
That was last week?
That was last week, yeah. Didn't you say She-Hulk?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I love She-Hulk.
Yeah, no. I may have, I reread because I didn't pick it because my comics weren't out last week and this week they're coming out. I kind of reread the Hulk, She-Hulk, female lawyer She-Hulk, and
like the original one.
No, the one.
Okay, because I specifically meant the last canon's She-Hulk, because it's like campy and dumb.
Yeah, and after kind of rereading that and then kind of going back and looking at campy, like not really looking, just kind of doing research on what happened and what was going on, I can honestly say She-Hulk over Moon Knight. Yeah,
no, She-Hulk's great. Anyone who's not reading She-Hulk, even if you just, like, if you don't care if it's not canon anymore, and it maybe still is, because I don't know how the fucking continuity works in Marvel, because they keep rebooting things. The old She-Hulk, where she's sassy single female lawyer, is great, and even the new run where it's just Hulk. So far, there's only 3 issues out. Yeah, it's great too. It's more of her dealing with depression over the loss of spoilers. Bruce Banner is dead now. Sorry for those folks who somehow don't know how Civil War II ended. But yeah, just Horizon. Yeah. But you know what? Because I don't think we talked comics a bit, actually, other than, like, we were more talking about movies, but, like, what comics I've been reading hasn't really changed. I'm still reading the same one. Yeah. But I want to throw out a recommendation because it's specifically getting, like, really good, especially the last few issues.
Okay.
Harley Quinn is a real hoot.
Oh? Just a good time?
Well, I mean, I think they're kind of handling it better, where it's instead of like these huge long arcs. Like Batman's currently going through this. I think it's called like I Am Suicide or something. It's him versus Bane, and it's oh boy is it dragging out. And I really I don't think I've cared for issues now. I'm just waiting for it to be over.
Oh boy.
Now that being said, the last one, spoilers for the most recent Batman release. It's just Bane got mad. And it's just literally every page is him killing a different Batman villain or beating them up on here. So that was like a fun little read of just seeing him beat up everybody to get to Bruce. But no, Harley Quinn is doing it more in like, here's 2 or maybe 3 issues of there's the entire story, and then the next one will kind of pretend it never happened. I'm sure there's some continuity things that stick around.
Kind of super just disjointed, like kind of almost like what's probably happening in her head almost.
Almost. Well, like the only thing that I know has stuck through multiple issues is like they bring up that she doesn't like Joker anymore, or that
what?
Again, I don't know what happened. Their breaking up happened in the New 52, which I didn't read, but in the new DC Rebirth, her and him...
Not a thing.
Not a thing anymore. So that stays canon. And Red Tool's arm, he loses his arm in the very first issue and is replaced with a chronic masturbator's arm. So occasionally he just jacks off the air and he can't help it. But this most recent run of Harley Quinn accidentally opening or awakening some super alien race of this guy who's just unkillable, and she brings on some new girl who I don't remember her name, brings on Power Girl, and they all have like a really cool dynamic. I wish I could remember what issues it started in. I think she actually wakes him up like way in the past, like in issue like 8 or something, and then 10 issues later they go, oh yeah, this is what happened when she blew some shit up.
Yeah.
But it's been quite the read. I've been enjoying it. Harley is, I don't know, she's just funny, I guess, and I like how they write out her Boston accent.
Okay. Now, her Deadpool.
What do you mean, her or Deadpool?
Well, if you had to pick, would you pick Deadpool or Harley Quinn? Because they're kind of like they're both
like to read or to. If I could only have one of them.
If you could only have one of them.
I would be Harley Quinn.
Okay.
And it's just...
Because I'm kind of like, I think like Harley Quinn and Deadpool are kind of,
Well, okay, even more so, the Harley Quinn comics and just the DCU in general have their Deadpool, and he's called Red Tool, and he is the merc with the mouth, red suit.
Okay. So Red Tool is kind of the...
I mean, they knew what they were doing.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have to look this up. I feel very confident that Red Tool came out after Deadpool on purpose.
Okay. Does he break the fourth wall, or...?
I'm sure he has. I don't remember him doing it, but he's definitely more Deadpool than Harley.
Okay.
But in no hate against Deadpool, I think, I don't know, Deadpool's kind of become...
a meme?
Yeah, a meme. And, like, I know I'm reading Batman, and it's like, oh, you read comic books? Oh, yeah, I read Batman. Like, of course.
Yeah.
But I feel like Deadpool's kind of the same. So, in branching out, if you like Deadpool, but, I don't know, if you're a weird hipster like me and don't like that he's become popular, Harley Quinn's the better route.
I was going to say, Harley Quinn feels like she has a lot more character to her, whereas Deadpool just kind of...
I mean, I don't know.
He just spits out memes and...
I mean, from the outside looking in, that's definitely what he appears to be. He's just the merc with the mouth. That's what he's known as. So he's just all jokes. But, like, Harley will actually get upset.
Yeah.
Because she has actual feelings. Or, there's an arc where something from her past came and it, like, really fucked with her emotionally.
I mean, Wade's kind of had Deadpool's kind of had the same thing.
I mean,
like,
I'm sure he has. But...
his daughter was in danger, and there was like a time. There have been a few examples of him actually having emotions, like when he met his father, when he went to go meet his father who ran out on him, and I'm pretty sure he killed him afterwards. But that's just what Deadpool does, kill people.
Yeah.
But I find that Deadpool doesn't have any, like, that's all he is. He's just jokes and memes and quotes.
Well...
But I guess that's how he is as a character. Like, he's supposed to be a representation of the shitty, like, just the I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about my ass. Oh, wow, Red Tool... Does he kill people with tools?
Yes.
Because I just saw that giant circular saw blade, and I was just like, "Oh, this is a. Is he a villain or an anti-hero?"
He's whatever you'd call Harley Quinn.
Okay.
He goes where the money is.
Okay. Because I could get behind an anti-hero that kills people with just a chisel, like just a hammer and chisel.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what he does.
Just,
he has
just
tools.
Get some of those obscure...
And, like, all of his speech bubbles are different tools.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Just a wood saw.
And he, like, I don't know... And I think what makes him... I don't know if I'd say Red Tool's better than Deadpool, but what makes him great is I don't know if I could read Deadpool because that's too much Deadpool. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, I think the movie was great because... that was just a good movie.
Yeah.
But the fact Red Tool's not the main character, so like you get a little bit of him, you go, oh, that was just the right amount. But leaving DC into other things I watched, in more relating to Marvel, is I checked out Iron Fist.
I have not had a chance yet.
I've only seen.
I've been really meaning to, but
Shit happens. I mean, I'm in a similar boat, but I basically had enough time before I came over this morning that I was like, I should watch the first episode.
Yeah. I've got 2 days off. I'm probably gonna sit down and watch it then.
It's getting a lot of hate. Like, I think Rotten Tomatoes has like a 13.
Oh.
And like, I don't think it's that bad. It's very much...
From what I've read about it so far, it's that it's not as... like it's building up slowly and it's not as fast as Luke Cage.
Nah, who cares? Not everything needs to be built up constantly. Okay, I was close. It's at a 17.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad. Now, it is getting hate. It has been getting hate. I saw this hate when the first trailer came out.
Well, wasn't it because everyone was like, "Oh, they're whitewashing again"? And
well, okay, so when the first trailer came out, they were accusing Marvel of whitewashing.
And I don't think anyone's really actually
well, exactly,
or know anything about Iron Fist.
Exactly,
which is
any research is the character has always been white.
Yeah. Rich white boy has his plane crashes in like the Himalayas, and then his like the assistant to his father just kind of murders both his parents and leaves him to die in the Himalayas. And then he gets magic fisting powers.
And I'm seeing more of that kind of come out again now that the whole series is out. But now it's changed from whitewashing to, well, you could have just made him Asian.
But that's not the character.
Which is just diversity for diversity's sake.
Yeah, that's not the character.
Which, I mean... And it's because... And they sort of had a point. They said, like, Marvel's been doing so well, like, you know, Daredevil has a disability, Jessica Jones is a girl, and Luke Cage is black, so they're doing great for diversity. So we can't, so I guess that's, at least from the article I was reading today, from a legitimate news source, this wasn't like like picked up some no one's blog post, was saying like, oh, like, they've been doing really well, so, like, seeing this white person is really not worth your time watching it. Which is silly. Don't judge the character, judge the show.
Yeah.
So immediately, I'll go into, like, very minor spoilers for the first episode. Immediately, the fight scenes are... Have you ever seen Steven Seagal, like, quote, real fighting?
No.
Okay. I wish I could, like, post a video on top of this and it not get flagged. But he's that... So, Steven Seagal obviously does a ton of movies, and he believes he's a brilliant fighter.
Yeah.
He's not. He hires people. He does the thing of, like, someone throws a punch and he goes, like, oh, and I pushed you away, and now I have won the fight. It's laughably terrible. Like, this wouldn't... Like, if these people weren't letting you manhandle them in an actual fight, he would lose immediately.
Mm-hmm.
In that is very much the very first fight scene. You're like... Danny Rand just kind of, like, pushes someone, and he's like, oh no, I'm incapacitated. From a push. So it seemed a little goofy. But... Within the very first episode, the fight scenes get better.
Okay.
It was just the very first one. I was like, ew.
Are there going to be some punches that I'm just going to go like, holy shit, that was amazing?
No, not really. There's no huge hits yet.
Like, I want to see Jaws dislocated.
Well, he hasn't... I mean, it's in the trailer of him having, like, this glowing power in his hands. That doesn't
the
come
Iron
up in
Fist.
that doesn't come up in the first episode.
Okay.
So, no huge hits yet.
The dragon.
Iron Fist. But in all honesty, like, maybe I just... And I know I do like some bad television.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad. Definitely not 17 bad. And now the actor playing Danny, I can't remember his name, said because it's all about privileged rich white boy, and with Trump in power, he thinks that just kind of, billionaire kind of has a bad name right now. And honestly, I think he has a point, because I can't see any other reason why this is any better or worse than the other Defenders shows. I'm going to watch more.
Yeah.
I'll watch the whole series. But even looking up comments on, like, that hate article of, like, they should have cast a Korean actor, blah, blah, blah. I saw a lot of comments, people saying, like, the show's just boring, and...
Yeah.
I don't feel that. Not yet. Anyway. We'll see.
I really hope when we do get to the Defenders, I hope we have that kind of dynamic between Iron Fist and Luke Cage, because in the comics, they're a great team together.
Well, yeah, I mean, the comic series I always see is Power Man
and Iron Fist. And it's just Luke Cage plays the straight man, and Iron Fist is always the kind of the one that's like just bringing up jokes. And it's just this awesome dynamic that you see in the comics, and I really
I
really would like to see that dynamic when we do get to the Defenders.
I'd like to see even anything like jokes, because you're saying that. Honestly, again, it's the first episode, so I'm not judging the whole series. Danny is the least likable character.
Is that because he's a rich white boy?
Well, in the first episode, he's not even rich white boy yet. He's a poor man.
Well, no, because he has, like, the whole thing about his backstory.
Just go on. Nope. Comics out of this. Nope. Just going off the first episode. In the first episode, it's him coming back.
Yeah, he's got to kill the guy who killed his parents.
And we don't know that.
That's what's going to happen, because that's what happens in the comics. That's what happens in his origin.
Yes, I know. But first episode, we don't know who killed his parents. In the first episode, despite him being Danny Rand, he can't prove it, so he can't get his seat on the throne. So this is
before he has his fortune.
Yes. He still technically has it. He just can't prove that he is who he is.
Yeah.
So it's him just being... And honestly, he's a dick. Like, he has, like... And this is me being unfamiliar with the character from the comics. He has, like, mental breakdowns of, like, just being a complete asshole to people. And I'm like, you're really not likable. Like, I'm not rooting for him to win right now.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, first episode. I imagine once this little foible is out of the way and he gets his seat back in his company, I imagine he mellows out a bit.
I don't know. Maybe they'll stick with it, and eventually he's just going to be, like, figure shit out.
Yeah.
And then he's going to get his seat back.
I'm definitely not going
He's going to become a better person before he gets his money and power back.
I'm definitely not going to judge any series off
the first
singular episode. But a 180 from comics is you and I went in sports.
Yes.
We sportsed. We sportsed. You know, the verb. Sportsed.
Yep. We went to see a sports game.
Yeah, you and I went to a hockey game last night. Now, you are not sports.
No.
You basically came to this because a friend asked if you would go because there was a dropout last minute and they needed someone to buy the ticket.
Yeah.
And so that's why you went. Now, I was going because I like sports. I do.
You like MMA.
No, I do enjoy a good hockey game.
Okay.
Now, hockey is not my sport of choice, but in this town, you have very few choices for live sports.
Yeah.
So hockey is great for that. Because honestly, if you like hockey, because we don't live in an NHL town, it's like $20, great seats. Like, if you like hockey, that's a great way to spend $20.
Yeah. I can think of other ways I'd rather spend $20, but...
So, for you, explain your experience. I mean, I know how it was.
The actual game itself, I found I was zoning out and falling asleep. And the only time I'd kind of snap out of that is if someone almost scored a goal. But during the halftime, when they had the little juniors out, like these are kids under the age of...
They were like 3 and 4.
3 or 4, up to 8.
I don't think
there were some taller kids, but anyway, young kids playing hockey. They were just falling all over.
There was more time falling than puck handling, and it was pretty goddamn adorable.
Like, that kept my attention more than the actual game. When they came out and did that bumper soccer, the guy, like, 5 people.
No, I think it was like 8.
Well, on one team. And
it was like...
So 4 on each team.
Yeah.
And they had these giant inflatable balls around them, and they were trying to kick a puck around on the ice, and they were just ramming into each other. And I was like, this is more interesting.
That looked like a grand old time.
Now, here's the thing. The game was Halifax Mooseheads versus the St. John Sea Dogs, our current town that we live in, versus the motherland.
Our hometown. Yeah. Our actual hometown.
Yeah. And I gotta say, both teams could not hold on to their sticks.
No, there was I've seen better games, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I have never seen quote-unquote professional players hold on to their sticks less.
Like, these people were... Anyway, it ended 1-2, St. John winning.
Yes.
And... oh boy, I have never felt so much, just animosity towards one team.
I mean, well, were you...
This is my first hockey game here in Halifax.
Yeah. But there was that one guy who was getting real heated towards anyone who likes St. John.
Oh.
And now, while you were not cheering for anyone, you were with people, myself included, who were cheering for St. John.
Yeah, and I was just sitting there going, oh boy, someone's gonna get murdered.
I mean, it ended up being fine.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it because after St. John just skated off, it was just hey, give a round of applause for the losers.
Yeah, well, okay, so the one thing you have to admit is seeing the home crowd advantage of so when St. John scored, you literally had
us. Cheering.
Maybe 10 people total in this entire, I don't know, 12,000 seat place.
Yeah.
Say, woo! Woo! You barely knew if St. John scored. Yeah. If Halifax scored, there was music, lights. They would do a laser light show. The crowd explodes, and you're like, I mean, maybe cut that down to half.
Yeah.
Your team lost.
Well, what was it? When there was one moment where the puck went in the net. Halifax technically had scored a goal, and the puck was in the net, then bounced right the fuck out as fast as it went in, and then they tried to get it in again, but they stopped it, and everyone saw the puck go in, and then bounce out.
I mean,
and the lights went off, and the little siren went woo woo woo, and everyone got up, and then no, it didn't count.
Yeah.
And holy shit!
Well, that's
everyone lost their minds.
That's when that one guy in particular started getting real heated.
Oh yeah.
But so yeah.
How was it for you? Because you
I like hockey.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not my first hockey game. I've gone to a handful here. So I enjoyed it. I think, not to throw shade at, it's not even just you. We went with a group of
animators.
There was 10 of us.
Yeah.
And I think of the 10, 4 cared.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of a drag when the majority of people don't care at all.
I made sure everyone knew. Well, I know you knew and I know PJ knew, but I didn't really... I don't really care about sports.
No, I know that. But, for me it wasn't too bad because, at least for me, on one side I had you, which, while I know you don't like sports, I can still talk to you about other things.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of me was a girl who was into the game. So, when shit was happening, I'd turn to her instead. So, I mean, I've seen better games. The game as a whole was not
it wasn't
fantastic.
Great.
But Well, you don't have to worry about it. It was the last one.
Thank God.
Till next year.
Boo.
Well, I guess technically later this year, but... But I want to talk to you, and I mentioned this before we started recording, that I want to talk about being antisocial.
Okay.
And now, Duncan and I both are fairly antisocial.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that can get me out of my shell.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anything can get you out of your shell. And what I'll bring up is specifically why I wanted to talk about this. Was after the game last night, all of us went to dinner.
Yeah. I ordered the pulled pork hamburger, which I thought was just going to have one type of meat in it. No, it had pulled pork, but then it also had a burger patty. And let me tell you, after that, I was not feeling great. Eating two kinds of animal in one burger, not a great idea.
Now, everyone we went with were coworkers.
Yeah.
And I don't think, other than a few words to me, I don't think you spoke the entire 2 hours we were there. And this was, and the reason why I want to bring it up is because I specifically steered the conversation at our end of the table into topics you could talk about. I brought up Ghost in the Shell, nothing. I brought up D&D, nothing.
And I knew, like, I heard Ghost in the Shell, I heard D&D, and I was like, oh, no, I want to. But, again, I was sitting beside, like, I had you on one side, and I had our coworker that I had met around the office, never said a word to her, and I didn't know how to. I don't know how to engage.
How to speak to people?
I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know how to engage with her. I don't know. Like, I've never talked to her. I've seen her. Mm-hmm. That's about it.
Yep.
And polite society would just be like, say hello, kind of just try and engage. I just sat there pretty much frozen most of the night. It was like, even I thought it was weird because I could hear you guys talking about Ghost in the Shell, D&D. You were talking about cartoons and shows that I was interested in, and I wanted to talk,
just couldn't.
But just, it was like full system. It was like when your computer runs in safe mode. Like, it was just, don't do anything to rock the boat.
Now,
like, usually when I'm being antisocial, it's not because I want to. It's like I hear people talking and I want to talk, but
you just can't convince yourself.
I can't, like, just everything in my jaw, like my body, like, is just like I was just staring at the football. The hockey game that was going on, just going like, they're talking about things I want to talk about. I want to engage. I want to do it. And then there's just the girl sitting beside me. And I'm just like, I don't know how to deal with her. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't, like, in that. My production coordinator was there. Mm-hmm. I was able to talk to her just fine.
Where?
The one I was sitting in front of or behind in the hockey game.
Oh.
Okay. Like, I'm able to talk to her just fine. But I think the guy she was with, he also works with us.
Not with, just coworkers.
Just coworkers. Well, the guy she was sitting beside, I don't think I could talk to him. Like, it's definitely not a gender thing. It's, you're a new person I have never engaged with.
Well, I was going to clarify for you that it's not a gender thing.
No.
Because we talked last week about game, and, you know, you have a relationship. You can talk to women.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's a new person.
Yeah.
I haven't ever really had much experience talking with that person. So, I think that was more or less just kind of me trying to feel them out, trying to figure out, you know, what they like, me being a creep, basically. Me trying to scout out this person before I actually engage.
I mean, I don't know exactly how your memory is of the evening. I don't know how locked inside yourself you were. But I mean, I was in a similar boat of, like, try to find an opening, try to talk, until then, like, robotic, turn to this person, yes, nod, turn to this person, yes, give thumbs up to other person across the table, to just, like, yes, I am human.
It felt like that.
But and the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because you and I are the same, but I think I can get out of my shell a little quicker, because eventually I did.
Yeah.
But, and I don't care if I say this, because no one at that table will listen to this, I was, hitting on one of the people, so I was just like, oh, thank God I can talk to this person.
That was another reason. I was kind of like, oh shit, I'm sitting beside Colin. I don't know which one of these girls is the one he's interested in. I'm just going to sit here and try not to cock block.
Well, I was an adult and I talked to both of them. Yeah. Well, I mean, one of them sits 2 seats away, so I will say, good morning, good night, or whatever when I see them, because I see them every day. But yeah, 10 out of 10 wood sports again. But I won't go see basketball, because I played basketball for years, and that is the devil's sport. I think it's stupid, and no one should watch or play it, and it should just be canceled, because slam ball was in every way better. Slam ball is when they had trampolines on the court.
What the fuck are you going on about?
Okay, Spike TV had their own, like, it was just basketball, but the court, each end of the court, had trampolines on each side, so everyone was dunking left and right, doing flips, because you could, because it was trampolines, and how basketball still beat that out, I don't know. Slam ball's way more entertaining. That's like every game was the Harlem Globetrotters.
Now, where this was on Spike TV, were there cheerleaders in skimpy?
I mean, probably. I don't remember.
Because it was Spike TV. This is the channel that had the man... Was it the man show?
Yeah.
Where at the end of the show they'd be like, girls on trampolines. Yep. Who knew that would last as long as it did?
That show probably lasted for like 6 years or something.
Yeah, and now now one of the hosts has his own talk show, and it's like no one remembers the man show, and it's just like...
I think it's just one of those things that, it's a different time.
Because I'm pretty sure if anyone brought up the man show, he wouldn't be a host anymore.
No, well, I think he's done enough that he can kind of... I think everyone involved can kind of distance themselves from it at this point. But it was a different time. I mean, the man show would never fly today.
No.
And as much as I am... I get a little sour when the, guys can't do this because they're men thing. I get a little sour with that shit, of course, but even if the man show started today, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know. And if it was just called the man show and they talked about, like, sports or whatever, fine. But, like, even if someone put a stink about the ending credits being girls on trampolines, I'd be like, yeah, you could probably get rid of that. As a society, I think we've reached past that.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck basketball. And I hate that Halifax's basketball team is good, because it means I might get invited to a game.
Wait, what?
Yeah, apparently they're quite good.
They're quite good, but they lose to St. John every time.
No, they're basketball.
Oh, they're basketball.
Hockey, they're fucking terrible. Except that one time they were not. But yeah, it's been our weeks, I guess. Any interesting news you came about?
Cheerios is giving out wildflower seeds to kind of help stop the mass genocide of honeybees.
What?
Apparently to kind of try and help with the slow extinction of bees. Mm-hmm. Cheerios was just like, yeah, we're putting packs of wildflowers in our cereals now. And I kind of sat there going like, now, General Mills. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't...
Save the bees, Duncan. They're important.
Yeah, I know they're important, but at the same time, a big corporation that employs, like, fields of corn and wheat...
A big corporation that is probably part of the problem.
Part of the problem being like, hey, wildflowers... That'll help, right? It's kind of...
Well, it could be like They have people in China who pollinate flowers by hand.
Is that what we're coming to in our society, where we're gonna have to have people that just are hired on to pollinate?
I mean, if there's no bees, yeah, someone's got to do it.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I imagine, we don't really like to throw human labor around as much as we can. I imagine we'd come up with a robot pretty quickly. But it wouldn't be as effective as bees.
No, because there's just so many of them.
Well, and that's basically what China has saw is, I mean, their bee problem is much more significant than ours.
Yeah.
And they basically said even having multiple people diligently going flower to flower on trees or whatever, they're like, still can't do it. Bees are just faster.
Yeah.
And there's more of them. But yeah, might come down to that. Might be no more bees. But
I think we need to genetically modify super bees.
Like giant bees?
No, not like the giant hornet that's, a hell that is like the incarnation of hell itself and ravages Japan. God damn it. The Pacific, like just all the countries just in that southern Pacific range is just filled with hell beasts.
I mean, so are we. They're just different hell beasts.
The worst thing we have here is what? The wolf spider, the brown recluse?
I was actually going to say, this podcast's number one favorite animal, the moose. That's a hell beast. That'll fuck you up.
That'll fuck you up.
Even when you hit it with your car, you typically lose that fight. That's the definition of hell beast. I killed it and lost.
Okay, so this is a story from my dad.
Mm-hmm.
When he was in university, in Fredericton,
mm-hmm.
They had an exchange student from Africa come in, and one day they were like, "Okay, we're gonna take you to the Moncton Zoo, and maybe you can tell us some stories about some of or give some." See how correct, some of... They basically wanted to show him some of the animals found in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
And they take him around, and there's some different animal species there from all over the world. It's a zoo. And they show him deer, and they show him, bear, like, just different kinds of animals. Eventually, they get to the moose exhibit.
Mm-hmm.
This gentleman from Africa takes one look at it, and he says, "Why would you eat something so ugly? That thing is hideous."
I mean, they're not that bad, honestly. At least I don't think so.
They're pretty ugly.
Nah.
No, you take one look at that face, and you're like, Jesus.
Well, okay, I think female moose are kind of ugly.
No, male moose are...
Well, no, the only reason why I would say one of the other, because for the most part they're pretty identical, is that when you look at a female moose, she doesn't have the antlers for you to go, oh, those are cool. At least when you see a male moose, you can kind of ignore the face because its antlers are, 5 times larger than its head. and you just go, those are death machines.
Whew. You're that close to a moose. Ooh, yeah, you're gonna die.
I wish... Well, I mean... I guess I have moose stories. So, I'm from a very, very small town.
Outside of a very, very small city.
Well, no, I wouldn't even say that. Size-wise, it's a fair-sized city.
Well, size-wise, it was the largest East Coast city in St. John before Halifax decided, hey, let's amalgamate Dartmouth, Halifax, and Bedford into one kind of region.
Yeah.
And then it became the largest city, quote unquote, on the East Coast.
But, so you came up, I mean, you I don't know if I'd describe it as suburbs, but definitely more suburban than where I'm from. Because you've been to my neck of the woods once or twice, and you've definitely described it as the boonies.
Oh, yeah.
Or,
the boondocks.
Or banjos playing. Growing up, I have had school canceled multiple times due to roaming moose.
Yeah.
There's like, a lot of kids walk to school, and there's a moose right there. So stay home, I guess, because, it'll kill you.
Yeah. No, I think where I live, we've had one moose sighting. A bobcat sighting.
I've had bobcat.
That was about it.
We had, this was while I was in middle school, so I would have been like 11. There was a bear cub on one side of the school.
Ooh.
And the mama bear was on the other side of the school.
Oh, Jesus.
And they're like, don't go anywhere, because they're looking for each other, and there's going to be a real problem if you're in the middle. So we just had a school lock-in, and just everyone had to stay late until the bear left.
Yeah.
But you know what would be great, Duncan?
What's that?
If we could segue better.
I mean, that would be the dream, but I kind of like how we can't segue.
It's our niche.
That's our gimmick. We can't.
Our gimmick is we're bad at it.
Yeah. Maybe that should be our gimmick. We just can't segue, and we just eat during the podcast, and just do everything we can to just drive this podcast into the ground.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I think we're doing that already. Not doing it on purpose.
Good. Wait, we weren't doing it on purpose before?
I put some level of effort into this show.
Okay.
I edit things. People don't see it because I edit it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we are far from professionals.
Something just came up on the computer and
kind
of freaked me
out. Let's talk about... I guess this is probably the thing that probably pissed me off the most all week.
Okay.
Let me shit on Breath of the Wild for a minute.
Oh, Colin, what are you doing?
So, in the episode with Anthony, we talked about how it's not so much the game that I hate.
Okay.
It's the reviews.
And how they tend to either swing, oh, it's the greatest game ever, or it's a piece of shit.
Yeah. And an article came out about the game today, and it was the most dick-sucking thing I've ever seen.
Okay.
And I think even you'll actually side with me on this one. So let me pull up...
You know, you say that, but I can't help but feel I'll just say no, that's fine, just to piss you off.
It's I hate that I'm saying this.
That's making a lot of sounds, Colin.
It's fine.
Okay.
Let me double check. It's fine. So I hate that I'm going to call this person out, and they'll never hear it anyway. That's fine. Because this is coming from a human being who I listen to them on multiple podcasts. I follow them on Twitter. I like this person.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of the dumbest things I've ever read. So this comes from Alana Pierce on IGN. Many people might know her.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's a lovely woman. But she put out this headline: Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is secretly an incredible multiplayer game. Now,
what?
For those of you not in the know, there is zero multiplayer function in this game. Literally none. Alana basically is writing how Breath of the Wild might be the best multiplayer game ever made, while being a 100% exclusively single-player game.
What?
Yeah. And, you see? You even said you're gonna disagree just to piss me off, and this was so outlandish that you can't even stick to that.
Was this...
No, it's IGN.
What?
So...
Not Kotaku.
No, it's
not Kotaku.
No, it's IGN. Which I know IGN gets their hate, but...
Yeah.
I like IGN for the most part.
Too much water?
Like, I get where she was coming from.
Yeah.
I read the article. But she's still wrong. To say that Breath of the Wild might be the best multiplayer game is just stupid. There's no multiplayer. Her point was, because everyone bought it, and the sales are doing quite well. Currently it has like an 87% attachment rate, which is fucking bananas. I don't think that's ever happened. She's like, because so many people bought it, I'm going to work and I'm talking to my friends, oh, I did this, oh, I did that. And like, so that's how it's becoming multiplayer, is because you talk to your friends about playing a single player game.
That's not the definition of a multiplayer game. Like, a multiplayer game is either having multiplayer, like having someone be able to play simultaneously with you, or just have some sort of element where other players are affecting your game, like couch, like what the fuck.
So I'll just read the very last paragraph, which kind of sums it all up.
Okay. I need a drink.
It honestly might be the perfect combination of tools in a video game given to anyone who wants to buy it, to promote conversation and discovery.
Okay.
In that, a single-player game has quickly become one of the best multiplayer experiences I've ever had, and I think I'll remember the constant elevation I felt this month for the rest of my life. So it's basically saying, because me and my friends are enjoying this game, this has now become a multiplayer game. And to anyone, because this is not a video podcast, not on my choice, Duncan is so blown away by this that he's now drinking some rum.
I'm going to need more rum for this.
And now, to anyone who has not known Duncan as long as I have, this reaction is not unheard of, but it takes one hell of a news story to get him like this. So, do you kind of see where she's coming from? Because I get where she's coming from. I get it. When a good game comes out, single player or not, it's fun to talk to your friends about it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make it a multiplayer experience. That means I'm talking to my friends.
Did you want a rum and coke?
I'm
sorry, I made it. It just I'm not like, I can make you one. If you want.
I mean, if you've got more.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Do you want to hold down the fort while I make it for you?
I can hold down the fort.
Okay. I'll try and converse while I'm making it, but it shouldn't take too long.
So, I guess this.
I'm sorry I didn't offer sooner.
Apologies to our listeners. You will probably not get the drunk cast that so many people, I'm sure, are waiting for. Maybe you'll get one someday, but I imagine we're nearing the the end of this episode. Just have a nice drink to take the edge off. But let's get real serious to get away from that
train wreck,
bonkers, whatever the fuck, and let's talk about everyone's favorite subject: Canada's justice system. So, we've had our chat about marijuana on this show before.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if we've ever actually said if it should be legal. I know we talked about it probably becoming legal, but I don't know if we've actually voiced our opinions on that. And I've always been, yeah, sure. Don't really put much more thought into it than, yeah, sure.
Make it legal and then regulate the hell out of it.
Well, an article came out from Huffington Post Canada.
Okay.
That really, shined a light on, like, oh yeah, we really need to legalize it very quickly, as it is causing some major backup problems in court dates. So, nearly 6,500 cases in Ontario alone could soon be dropped due to delays because the courts are just filled up with minor, like, pot possession.
Yeah.
Which...
No, this is insanity. And people are, like, getting mandatory minimum sentences for it.
So, of these, there are... So, like, obviously, Canada is a fairly crime-free nation.
I mean, compared to other nations.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, per capita, I think we report nearly every murder because we can.
Yeah.
So, obviously, of these 6,500 in just Ontario, and I'm sure they're well over, you know, it might be 15,000 across the nation. It says 38 are for attempted murder, or for murder or attempted murder. So that's pretty low percentage. Yeah. But one of these cases in particular that might have to get dropped just because they can't set a fucking court date is a man who was convicted of raping a minor 100 times. Might just be the case, might just get dropped and essentially go free because there's too many minor possession blocking up the system. Which that tells me if they are actually planning on making it legal on April 20th, which is, you know, just a month away.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes.
Are you serious?
They did that on purpose.
Oh.
I mean, if that doesn't spell something's got to change.
Yeah. No. Like, this is getting in the way of putting actual dangerous people away.
And yeah, okay. Violent drug offenses, yes. Because the violent part is the important part.
Like, if you're doing, like...
You're right. This is smooth.
Oh, yeah. Like, for rum, it's real great.
It's fantastic. Even if it isn't to decriminalize, even to just switch it to a fine for now, to just not have a fucking court date.
Because these mandatory... Like, I get it. Mandatory minimum sentences for minor drug charges like this doesn't make sense. People are going to jail for, like, for something, for nothing.
Well, they essentially have, like, but they might have a joint on them.
Yeah.
And then, oh, yeah, I gotta go to court now.
Yeah. And then legalize it, regulate the hell out of it, do what you did for alcohol, do what you do for tobacco. Maybe, like, I don't know, maybe crack down a little bit more on tobacco. Because I'm sick of fucking going to work every day and just sucking in other people's cancer sick smoke.
That doesn't bother.
No, I don't. I'm done. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of dealing with pot. And then they have the fucking audacity to be like, oh, but we're not allowed to smoke inside and we gotta stay, like, what, 9 meters away from the doors? Fuck off. You're still smoking in front of buildings and I still have to walk through your cancer-inducing fucking exhaling smoke shit. I'm so sick of these people. And I know a lot of people at work smoke and I'm real, like... And those fucking e-cigarettes are the same thing.
Vape?
Fuck off. Fuck
Vape,
off.
bro?
Fuck off. Fuck off. Just
So here it says in Alberta alone, 200 serious criminal charges have already been dropped.
Mm. That's... Wow. Congratulations. You fucked up.
Alleged killers are walking away with their trial while dispensary raids are accelerating, which I think we did talk about that.
Didn't a new one open up? Like, several new ones open up, like, over the last couple weeks?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean...
Like, because it's people trying to jump the gun.
I don't want to call them a disease, but if you close one, 3 more open.
Yeah.
So it's sort of acting like that, but I've heard good things about the one across from work.
Where across from work? Because there's that mall.
It's it's near the top of the hill.
Okay. That way across.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not going to be as good as that one we saw last night with that metal fucking...
Oh, no, that was just a cigar bar.
Oh, that was a cigar bar?
Mm-hmm.
Because that mural they had, that was metal as like, you pointed it out, and then you're like, that's metal as fuck. And then I looked at it, and I was like, oh, that's, like, just the black on gold. That was nice looking. I was like, I can appreciate that. I would, if I was gonna get a tattoo, I would want something like that. Was cool.
It was pretty cool. Now, actually, would you ever get a tattoo? Because I've dabbled with the idea.
I've thought about it a lot, and I don't want to get just anything. If I were, like, I've been thinking about this for years, ever since my girlfriend got hers. And it's something I always kind of think about.
Mm-hmm. Now,
and I never can decide because it's going to be put on my body.
Well, okay, still, if you thought about it, give me a rough what and where. Because, okay, so for me, Batman is a pretty significant turning point in my nerd life.
Yeah. Would you get the symbol, or would you get...
Well, the cover... I would specifically get the iconic image of Batman jumping... I think it's just from rooftop to rooftop, with lightning strike behind him. It's the cover from Dark Knight Returns. Or the Dark Knight, sorry. Iconic image. It's one of those ones that everyone's seen it. Because that's specifically the comic that changed my mind. And because before reading that, I mean, that is when I found out about MMA. That was when I was playing sports. I don't want to say I wasn't quite a dude bro, but I was definitely going in that direction at the time.
Yeah.
And then Batman ruined my life. So I was just going to get that on my arm, but never have, partially because, I don't know, my weight fluctuates so rapidly that I'm like, I'd want to get it somewhere where it, might stay roughly the same shape and size forever. But if I got one, it would probably be Batman related.
Yeah, like back in high school, I was like, I had this weird fascination with tribal designs. I'm not talking like the stuff you see for tattoos normally. I mean like the deep stuff that you rarely, like, you'd see in
Cannibal Holocaust.
Is that a movie?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's cannibals.
But basically the stuff you'd see in like National Geographic and stuff like that. I was looking through, like, I'd see the tattoo magazines and I'd be like, oh, that's kind of neat.
Tie it into why that means something.
Maybe not tribal tattoos, maybe more like Celtic kind of...
No, that's very different.
I kind of realized that as I was saying it, and then I kind of sat here going, maybe I should backpedal a bit. But yeah, just kind of like those kind of Celtic designs and some of those oh man, that rum's hitting me now.
I mean, I've seen some nice Celtic designs, but I mean, they're not for me.
Yeah, no, it's just there was a time in high school and when I was my stint in university that did not go well, where I was like looking at it was just not words English.
So if you can't finish that, I'll tie it into why I'm asking about tattoos.
Okay.
Which was I forgot I read this earlier, and no one fact checked this for me because this is too precious, so I want it to be true. Which was someone got a tattoo of "Make America Great Again" right on their asshole, like right on the sphincter.
Ooh.
Yeah, I imagine it was just mega, but.
Okay, watching someone get a tattoo on their arm was... And the agony they had to go through. I could not imagine the pain of just having that little needle puncture your asshole over and over again in the span of a few seconds. What? Are you...
I'm just reading more of the story while you talk.
I can't imagine that, like, because I'm terrified of needles. And it's kind of weird because watching someone get their tattoo done, I was fascinated. Like, I was down in there, like, the guy was doing, like, the line work, and I was just like, oh, like, just watching all the little mechanisms move as the needle was going up and down and laying down the ink, that was fascinating. Just watching it move, just watching the mechanics of it, and watching him lay the ink down, like that. I was just, and my girlfriend was just sitting there going, like, Duncan, could you not? And the tattoo artist is like, hey, can you bring your face back a little? I need to be able to do this, and you're kind of distracting me. And I was like, this is so cool.
Now I know, like, my brother is...
Which, younger or older?
Younger.
Okay.
Is into doing that at some point in his life.
Like...
Being a tattoo artist. He's actually quite good.
Okay. Because stories you've told him.
No, my brother's art's actually quite good.
That's kind of surprising.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But he actually drew me up, like, 12 Batman tattoos. Because he was one of the first people I told that I might get a Batman tattoo. He drew... Probably still in my house somewhere. But yeah, it is a.
This is the one that threatens you, like, daily.
Oh yeah,
with
he's gonna kill you. This is my garbage brother. Is a fantastic tattoo artist.
Okay.
Oh sweet, there's an actual picture. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Almost puke on air.
Well, that's the podcast this week. Go get your asshole tattooed
with a big picture of Donald Trump.
First person to tattoo Power Moose directly on their asshole gets to be a guest for a year on the show. Gets to live with me for an entire year.
I think you're putting the cart before the horse on this one.
I don't think anyone is going to tattoo Power Moose on their own asshole before I do, and I'm not going to do it.
I think I'm going to, like, keep just this clip as a recording, so if we ever get to the point where we have more than just the people we know listening, then I'll be like, hey, Colin, remember that time you said you'd tattoo Power Moose onto your asshole?
Well, hey, guess what? That's a fan I'd want to know. But yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at PowerMoosePod. Duncan is Append Gray. I am Metal Gear Whale. You want to show us a picture of your tattooed asshole? Send it to PowerMoosePodcast@gmail.com. Or you can send in where you would prefer to get a tattoo.
I mean, tattoos.
Like your urethra. Step it up a bit.
Oh, no. No.
What's the anime we'll tell the folks to watch this week, Duncan?
I'm kind of late on this, but Blue Exorcist.
I saw 2 episodes of that. It's pretty alright.
Yeah. They're on the third season, I think it is now, and it's really good. I enjoy it.
Well, get your fill of weeaboo trash next week. Good night.